Hello and welcome everybody to our 5th demo day of Elevate. My name is Katharina Binde. I am program manager of Elevate and I have the pleasure of guiding you through this evening today. I hope that our guests on Hopin already had a fun time connecting with others. I saw a bunch of us who are here in the office having a lot of fun connecting with sometimes strangers, sometimes with friends. So thanks everybody for doing this with us. But this is also the point where our live stream guests are joining us over on Facebook and our Demo Day page. So welcome to all of you, and please share the love, spread the love, share the live stream. And if you do so, please use our hashtag #ElevateDemoDay. And to everybody who's watching through the live stream on Facebook, you can connect with us through the comments. We'll be chatting with you over there as well. So before we get into the pitches, the main thing that you've all been waiting for today, I will say a couple of words about the program and about the people who make it what it is, because Demo Day is always a very special day for us. Because, I mean, generally speaking at the Venturi, it's never a dull moment. We support startups and established companies in growth marketing, data and software engineering, and innovation management. And that leads to a lot of exciting, different projects. So yeah, we're never bored, but then there's also Elevate, the reason why we're all here today. And Elevate is our 4-month-long acceleration program for early stage startups, which is coming to an end today. Over the past 4 months, we have had the pleasure to work with the 4 startups you'll meet later today, and the founders behind them. And they basically became part of our family, which is why we're so excited and a little bit sad today. But yeah, what we've been doing in the last 4 months is meeting up every month for our boot camps, first here in Vienna and then online. We tackled topics like problem and solution validation, financial planning, investor relations, internationalization, and many more. And you'll hear about the outcome of the last couple of months in a bit. But for now, I want to say to our 4 startups, we really love you. You became part of our family, and thanks for trusting us. Thanks for going on this journey with us, or letting us go on the journey with you, and for your hard work. All our boot camps wouldn't have been the same without all our amazing, talented, smart mentors and experts who shared their knowledge, helped out the startups in the workshops, in their mentor sessions. Some of you are here today, and yeah, thank you, everybody. This is one of my favorite moments when you come in here, you share with the startups, and connections are happening. So thank you. But what also happened while we had our boot camps and in the between times was that our amazing team was working hands-on with the startups. They delivered over 800 hours working hands-on with the startups on their product, on their marketing, on their business development. And you guys, the program wouldn't be what it is without you. Thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for being crazy enough to do this every single time with us. And we know it's not always easy, but a lot of fun. So we hope you had fun too. Last but not least, thanks to all our partners, to Wirtschaftsagentur Wien, Austria Wirtschaftsservice for supporting us, having supported us from the beginning, believing in our dream, believing in our dream of building the future together. Thanks to Leancase for providing the financial planning tool that the startups worked with, to Bisin and Juan, who are behind the screens right now, and supporting us with storytelling and the live streaming issues, also from day 1 of the accelerator. Last but not least, thanks to BDO, Martin and Lucas. I know you're here today with us as well. You're not only a great partner to us, but also to the startups by sharing your knowledge, by consulting them. Thank you very much. All right, that's enough thank yous for today, and enough rambling from my side. I know you all want to hear the startups pitch, and this is what's going to happen now. So how this is going to work is I'll have a bunch of my colleagues here with me, and before the startups are pitching, one of them will come up and introduce the startup a little bit that they most worked with, and and share a little bit about the last couple of months. Then the startup has 3 minutes to pitch followed by a 5-minute Q&A, which is where you come in. Please, everybody on Hopin especially, ask your questions in the chat tool. I will read through the questions, and once the pitch is done, we'll ask the start of some questions. All right, enough for me. I have Sunny here with me, who will introduce Rotable, our first startup of the afternoon. And Rotable is a SaaS solution for the HR and clinical rotation management in healthcare facilities, saving hospital groups about 200 hours a week. Sunny?
Kati. My name is Rotable. I will be better known as Sunny, and I work as a software engineer for the Venture. I am kind of an Elevate veteran because I've been into other batches, and this time I am responsible for one of the Austrian startups, Rotable. Rotable are a young team, but it feels like they have been working together for years. One thing that made huge impression for me was the synergy between Lisa, Yannick, and David. Everybody has their own benefits, and the others completely trust the decisions they take. On the other hand, they also realize that nobody has all the answers, and there is full transparency and communication in the team. All of them have put huge effort these past few months, and you will see the result in a minute. If I can sum up my personal experience with Rotable, it will be enjoyable, because I felt welcome and part of the team from the very first day we had together. My opinion was valued, and I knew that the team had always my back. Communication, which I believe is the most important thing in Elevate, was always much efficient and with minimum delay. We had a few events together, which were a lot of fun, and they got us even closer together. I can't wait to see where the journey will take them, but I will let Lisa and Yannick tell you everything you need to know.
Thank you, Sunny, for this nice introduction. Yannick, I can see you. Are you ready? We moved into Zoom right now, so I will hand over to Yannick and have fun.
Perfect. So, hi everybody, welcome. We are Lisa and Yannick, and unfortunately, we've got bad news for you. Currently, valuable time of medical staff is being wasted. Now, we are going to show you why.
Did you know that doctors in training have to rotate between up to 14 different medical departments, often across different hospitals, and all of this in only 3 to 6 years? Now, the planning and management of these rotations is highly complex, as hospitals have to ensure a number of requirements, such as the clinical curriculum of each specialization, personal preferences, and many more. Once created, each rotation schedule, but also each change to an already issued schedule, has to be communicated to a high number of stakeholders within and across hospitals. Now, what do you think? How do hospitals currently manage these rotations? Manually, in self-created workarounds. So it's hardly surprising that all requirements are hardly ever met, and that one hospital spends on average almost 200 hours per week on managing their clinical rotations. More than half of this time falls upon highly qualified doctors, such as medical directors and senior physicians, which is expensive and means valuable medical staff resources are being wasted. Now, these were exactly the type of challenges that I had to face on a daily basis as head of a department responsible for the clinical rotation management across 9 hospitals. There was no suitable software solution available, and I knew that in order to build one, I needed to combine my in-depth know-how in clinical rotation management with expertise in software engineering and venture building. So with David and Yannick, I put together the optimal team.
That's right. With Rotable, we are developing the first HR solution that enables hospitals to generate clinical rotation schedules automated and to complete related admin tasks with only a few clicks. At its core, we developed an algorithm that calculates ideal schedules across hospitals while accounting for all mentioned requirements. This way, we allow hospitals to efficiently respond to short-term rotation changes and increase quality through planning and preference reliability. Automated workflows and alerts ensure transparent information and communication. We charge hospitals a monthly licensing fee per managed position. Even after purchase, hospitals not only save costs, but Rotable is freeing up much needed medical staff resources to spend on patient-related tasks. we conducted 40 plus qualitative interviews with decision makers and employees of large hospital groups in Germany, Austria, with the medical chamber. The conclusion? There is a high demand and hospitals are inclined to get rid of their complex workarounds. That's why we're about to close pilot projects with hospital groups in Vienna and have 7 hospitals in our pipeline interested in testing our solution. This year's primary goal is to build up strong credentials for an effective go-to-market in 2021, to then drive sales and further scale our product. Currently, we are looking to establish investor relations for our first financing round in 2021. So drop us an email or join us today in our breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick and Lisa. Yeah. You can all hear that the two of them are in the office with us, pitching from over there. I can't really see them, but I can see you through the screen. Well done. How do you feel?
Pretty good, yeah. It's always fun to pitch.
Yeah,
nice.
It's nice to be in the office with you.
Everybody, we are ready for your questions, so start posting them in the chat. I can read them over here. But if while we're waiting for questions, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask one because I know it's one that comes up quite a lot, and that is that it sounds a bit niche what you're doing. Can you please give us a bit more explanation about the market?
Right. Yeah, that's you're right. That's a pretty important question that we had to think of as well, because it might seem as if we were entering a niche market. But actually, when having a look on the current challenges and trends in healthcare HR, we are actually looking on a growing market. Let me just share a slide with you, which gives you a better overview. I'm going to switch the slide here. So we're talking about the hospital workforce management software market, which is rapidly growing with a compound annual growth rate of around 13%. And the clinical rotation scheduling actually allows us a way into this market with great up and cross-selling potentials. And as you can see, the clinical rotation scheduling alone, only in the DACH region, offers us a revenue potential of around 40 million euros. Now, what we plan to get into this growing market are several possibilities of up and cross-selling. This could be, for example, staff scheduling, as the staff scheduling is linked to the clinical rotation schedules or based on the clinical rotation schedules, because you have to bear in mind which doctor is going to be on which department at what time. So it would make sense to connect those two. Another possibility would be with regard to recruiting, as based on the clinical rotation scheduling, we could predict which position has to be filled at what date and with which qualification profile. So we could create a recruiting platform that lists all vacant positions and enables an intelligent applicant position matching. But this is just an outlook. These are possibilities to get into this market.
Nice. So lots of possibilities there.
Yeah.
Cool. Another question, maybe you can just quickly answer that before we're moving on to the next startup, is there no competitor out there? You didn't mention anything.
Yeah, so when I think here it's best to share another slide again, to be honest, in terms of the competitive landscape. So when it comes to the clinical rotation scheduling, hospitals usually have two options. Either hire a very expensive software provider to implement a tool throughout a very tedious and cost-intensive implementation project. This is usually on premises, or building their own workaround. And as hospitals are restructuring cases with extremely high operational cost pressure, they would rather build a workaround than putting 6 figures into an expensive software provider. And this is where we want to come into play, offering an alternative to those workarounds with an affordable and intelligent solution. And actually, this is what 2 players already did in the United States. but with the US-specific requirements. So we would start first in Europe and want to make use of our first mover advantage.
Awesome, thank you very much. Time's up for the Q&A. Thank you. You can already go and get your drink.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the next startup. So I'm moving back to the camera here. So next startup is DetectoLabs, a powerful image recognition software that helps shops and manufacturers to automatically detect and predict stock shortages. And with me now is Julian from our team, who worked quite intensively with DetectoLabs. So Julian, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Kati. I'm really excited to introduce DetectoLabs to you. As Kati mentioned, my name is Julian Kosman, and I'm a growth marketer here at the Ventry. And for the last few months, I've had the incredible pleasure of working with an amazing startup from Russia since we began our collaboration in February. DetectoLabs are a team of really diverse, expert individuals from across the country who are dedicated to giving offline retail the same benefits that online retail has had for years, and they're going to tell you more about that in their pitch. But it's been so interesting to see the dedication that they've taken in to achieving this vision, facing cultural and legal differences from their home country. I can recall one interesting moment when they came for a boot camp here in Austria, and we actually went into a grocery store to see how many security cameras are actually mounted there and would their solution scale in a country like Austria. As I mentioned, the team approached their vision with dedication, but also with a big openness to adapt and to pivot. And we supported them to conduct one of the most thorough idea validations that I ever saw, taking nothing for granted and building a lot of really helpful connections along the way. Alex, Ilya, Irina, and the rest of the team have been a huge pleasure to work with, and I'm personally really impressed by what they've come up with, and I think you will be as well. So please welcome DetectoLabs.
Thanks, Julian, for this super nice introduction. We're again moving back in Zoom. Alex, are you ready? Are you here?
Hi, Kati. Yes, I am. I am ready to pitch.
So you have 3 minutes. I'm handing over to Alex from DetectoLabs now, and have fun.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm from DetectoLabs. We help retailers and manufacturers to reduce losses and to manage their stocks better. Let me explain you how. $100 billion. This is how much fast-moving consumer goods industry loses every year because products needed by customers are not on shelves. We know it from different research projects and from our own interviews. We've made a lot of them with different people from different countries and at different positions, from employees in the store to CEOs. And we confirmed our findings with pilot projects. So now we know that every third trip to a store, a shopper encounters out-of-stock situation, can't find a product she or he needs. That is because employees in the store simply forget to put products on shelves or mix them up or don't have time. People make mistakes, and these mistakes are costly, like $100 billion costly. So we decided to delegate this to a computer. Our system consists of a network of cameras and a cloud service, which can detect products, identify them, identify if they're in the right place, count them, and calculate the perfect time to fill in the shelf, and of course to notify managers about that. It can also detect people, their gender and age, their purchasing behavior. But I should emphasize that we do this without face recognition because we respect privacy. So we provide retailers and manufacturers with very valuable information about consumer data. This is a unique feature none of our competitors has. Yes, we have competitors, but we feel confident because we know our advantages. We are good in optimizing. That is why we don't need a lot of cameras, don't need high-speed internet connection or huge amount of computing power. That is why our system is easier to implement and cheaper. We charge €50 per camera per month from retailers for our system. And what is very important, we can identify not only the front row of products like existing solutions, but also back rows. So our predictions are much more accurate. What is probably the most interesting thing is our approach to sales, because we are going to sell our service to retailers, but also sell data to manufacturers. Okay, you may ask, why would retailers let us do this, let us sell this data? That is because they will benefit from it. Retailers already sell some data to manufacturers. We will just provide them with more data and with more profit, because we'll sell data to manufacturers and we'll share profit with retailers. And in fact, our ultimate goal is to make the system free for retailers. So at some point, several years from now, we will be able to really make it free for retailers. At this point, it will be very difficult to compete with us. We will charge only manufacturers, and we will become a global marketplace of data for manufacturers. It is an ambitious goal, but we are pretty sure that we will be able to achieve it because of our team. It originally came from academic background, from university research area, like my co-founder Ilya, who is PhD in data science. But by now we already have a lot of experience in retail and business development. We are in an MVP stage, but these companies have already expressed their willingness to work with us. The only thing we need to meet their demand is to expand our team. And for that, we need 300,000 euros for the next 8 to 10 months. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Alex. Well done. It's over. So you guys, I found the problem with the questions. I can see all of them now. To everybody who had questions for Rotable, please join them in their session afterwards and ask your questions. But Alex, now I can actually see questions that are ready for you to answer. So Thomas Ecker says, nice pitch. Have you checked on your competition? Solutions like on the Amazon Go shops already exist. What makes your solution better?
Okay, what makes our solution better? Let's skip to a slide with our competitors. There is no Amazon Go here, because Amazon Go provides like the whole digital experience in retail. And it costs a fortune to and several months to make any store Amazon Go ready. So we are moving in direction of the digitalization, like step by step. And at this area, there are some competitors. Like, for example, the most obvious one is staff in the store, like, because now they do this with help of staff. Another thing is merchandisers from producers who enter stores and check shelves. Okay, they use some systems, like some software, also visual recognition software, but they are not like 24/7 on a place. Merchandisers come and go, and they can't monitor the situation all the time. They have direct competitors. For example, Trax is probably the biggest company on the market in these terms, but they still have a lot of things to improve. For example, they can't see, they don't know anything about back rows, so they can't predict sold-out situation precisely. They can't detect consumers, can detect people, and provide retailers and manufacturers with important insights about purchasing behavior. Like their solution is not as optimized as ours.
All right, thank you. Martin has two questions. First one is, who owns the data? Wouldn't you need the permission of the customers? And then the second question is, any reference projects you have right now? Okay,
we don't need any permission from customers. Yes, we discussed it with law firms in Europe, and we know we don't need any permission. We don't violate any laws. Completely aware about GDPR rules, and our solution is GDPR approved. So there is no personal data at all. We just don't look at faces. Yes, we can recognize gender and age of people, but that is all. This is aggregate data, not personal data. And even gender and age, we identify it not by looking at faces, but by how people move. This is our own technology. As for reference in program projects, we've done a couple of pilot projects, and we are now in talks with Procter & Gamble and Billa about the next pilot project That will happen in August.
Thank you, Alex. I'll see you later. And to everybody who still has questions, go join Alex and DetectoLabs in their session later.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So now we're moving on to our third team, and I'm looking back into our studio camera, so back and forth today. Our third startup of the afternoon is Avasa AI from the UK. Avasa AI is empowering HR departments to support their new graduate employees and expats in finding homes fast and easy, thus improving employee productivity and mental well-being. And with me here now in the studio is Miriam, who was working very closely with the whole Avasa team. Miriam, stage is yours.
Thanks, Kathi. I'm Miriam. I'm head of the growth marketing team here at the Venture. And together with Monica, Leo, Josh, Krista, and Stefan, I had the pleasure to work with Avasa for the past 4 months. I do remember our very first boot camp week when we sat just over there in our little sports corner and we started drawing the whole customer journey, which is still there, by the way. But ever since, I haven't seen them much in person, but we spent quite some time on Zoom calls, which is quite normal for Mayank, Octavian, and Rajneesh because their team is located in the UK, in India, and since a month, basically, in Romania as well. What I admired most when working with them was their passion, their commitment. I mean, at some point, I wasn't sure if Mayank ever sleeps. And although having a lot of experience, I mean, Mayank and Rajneesh, they founded companies before, and Octavian has a lot of experience in real estate. They always had open ears and hearts to our ideas and suggestions, and I think that's a great personality trait. That being said, I bet you can't wait to hear what Avasa is all about, so let's welcome Mayank on stage or on screen in that case. You're welcome.
For that super nice introduction and the walk down memory lane. I'm again back here in Zoom with you, Mayank. I don't think you could hear what Miriam just said, but it was very good. Rewatch it later. All right, Mayank, you're ready. You have 3 minutes and have fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mayank Mathur. I'm the founder of Avasa, where we are creating an AI-driven home search experience for tenants. So this all started back in December 2015, when my wife and we were looking for a property to rent in London. We did all the usual things, have online research every day, calling estate agents or them calling us non-stop, running across the town during office hours for viewings, negotiating against landlords and estate agents, which is an over 100-year-old established industry. And when our offer fell through, we had to restart all over again. It was a really miserable experience. And then we discovered that we are not alone. On an average, it takes 49 hours for younger professionals to find and finalize a property. And while doing so, 66% of them say that their productivity declined at work. That's a net loss for everyone involved in this transaction. So at Avasa, we are creating a mechanism to cut down this time on search and finalization to less than 1/5 of the current time. And we do it with the help of a digital relocation expert for every single tenant who takes them through the journey to start from search and go all the way till finalizing their lease. This personalized experience is enabled by artificial intelligence technology. So at the start, there's an NLP chatbot, which is supervised by industry experts. Underlying that, there's the deep learning-based recommendation and lease review engine, which takes them through the journey. And at the core is this end-to-end transaction platform where they can start the search, identify areas and properties, go all the way till signing the lease and beyond. Since we launched the beta version, over 33,000 users have used our app. We have also experimented on our revenue model with almost 100 of them. And these paying clients have told us that we have saved them on an average 40 hours and on an average over 4,000 pounds on their home search. They liked us so much that they keep bringing a lot of referrals to us and keep giving us amazing feedback, such as this one, someone saying it was an honest lifesaver. Number of tenants in the UK market alone are growing dramatically. So by 2025, it's expected to grow to 7.2 million. Back in 2000, there were just about 2 million private tenants. And this figure is pre-COVID. This estimate is pre-COVID. Following COVID-19 situation, we are expecting the growth to accelerate even further in the same way as how the market reacted back after 2008 financial crisis. We are accessing this market via multiple channels. At the core, it's a B2C product. And now we are also accessing this via B2B2C strategy, wherein we are going to corporate human resource teams to help them find and finalize a property for their new employees or relocation clients. As a part of this initiative, we are currently participating in a PwC growth program that gives us access to this market. Our core team combines all kind of skills. So previous tech startup experience, real estate, PhD in computer science, and a long experience in tech building, basically. Along with that, we also have strong coaches and supporters who have decades of experience of business building and successful exits behind them, who are helping us with building this amazing opportunity. And obviously, we keep getting a lot of amazing media coverage as well. So now we are looking to connect with seed investors who are as excited as us to create an AI-powered customer journey for the future, as well as we are looking to connect with corporate human resource teams who would like to make sure that their employees are not wasting time and that they can find and finalize a property in a very easy, relaxed manner. So please look me up on LinkedIn. This is the LinkedIn QR code. Send me an email or meet us after this session in our breakout room, and we'll discuss more. Thank you.
Ooh, well done, Mayank.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at the chat. So if questions are coming in, then I will see them right away. Are you relieved now?
Oh, this is just the start of the journey, right? So.
Okay, so there's the first question from Wayne. He says, you mentioned the UK market a lot. Have you also looked into a market here in Austria or anywhere else in Europe?
Yes, so just very preliminary look, what we have found in general is the problem that we are solving, which is the tenants are spending way too much time and it's a very hassle-some process for them. Those market characteristics are basically the same across different markets, and not just in Europe, but in North America, in Asia, etc. as well. The way we have approached our technology build out is there are three key parts to it. One is search. Second is communicate. So when you're communicating with your family members or your friends. And the third is transaction. The transaction layer differs from one country to the other, but we have designed it in a way that we can very quickly build the transaction layer in different markets and launch our app and product into multiple markets. But global growth is definitely something that we have looked at right from day one.
Nice. And Rahim is asking, how do you get the data? Online platforms?
Sure. So in the UK, that market is a market coming from landlord to estate agents to aggregators is very well kind of organized. So we get our data from some of those aggregators, and as we grow, we are building even more links to get better quality access or better quality data from the landlords. We are not marketing our product to landlords or estate agents, so it's not a two-sided marketplace. We are focusing really on the user journey, and we can collect all kind of data just as any utility provider would provide. We get the data from a lot of different sources.
All right, and the next question also from Rahim. I think you've heard this a bunch of times since you came to Austria. Is what is the difference between Avasa and Zoom Square, if you know them? So
I think it's largely the same in terms of problem solving for consumers. Where we differ is really the kind of go-to-market strategy and talking to the corporate human resource teams, because we believe coming from, I used to work in investment banking for 10 years, and my wife works in consulting. So we have seen how difficult it is for those busy professionals that we are targeting between the age group of 25 year to 45 year plus kind of thing, and really working very hard to solve that end-to-end problem. So on the basis of the initial feedback we have received from corporate human resource teams, this is a big problem that they're all thinking about. But since there is no real existing solution out there at the moment, no one really kind of, has bought anything. But because everyone has rented at least once in their life, or almost everyone has, the problem is identified by a lot of people out there, and we are confident that we can make this a successful platform for the future.
Thank you very much. Our time is up, but Thomas still had a question. So Thomas, if you just join Avasa in their session later after the last pitch, then I'm sure they can answer your question. Thank you, Mayank.
Thank you.
See you later. All right, moving back to our studio camera. That was our third pitch of the afternoon. So now we're moving into the last one. The last startup of today is MidiBrain. MidiBrain is making the process of creating and producing music easy, intuitive, and without having to go into the depths of music theory. And with me now, my last guest is Tony, who worked a lot with Michael from MidiBrain. And Tony, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Patty. Hi, everyone. I'm also a growth hacker at DaVinci. And for the past 6 months, I had the pleasure to work with Michael and MidiBrain, together with my colleague Stefan. We initiated some branding, design, and growth hacking activities to support mostly his first application, which is the chord progression generator. I wouldn't lie, it was completely new experience for me, or the industry was completely new for me, but I'm happy Michael really took the time and he was patient enough to really explain everything. About Michael, he's extremely devoted and dedicated to his startup, and that I can give you an example. We were creating the mockups for his second application in the second boot camp. And he would never settle, or it took him a long time to settle for the mockups just because he wanted to meet his and his customers' expectations. And this is what I see as he's really being passionate about his startup. I don't want to spoil it too much. As Katya already mentioned, MidiBrain is all about people who love music, who are passionate, who, however, need some guidance and inspiration. So, yeah, I'm really happy to present MidiBrain and Michael to you.
Thank you, Tony. Now, moving back into our Zoom call, where Michael hopefully can hear me.
Hey, yeah, can hear you.
Great. So, you know the rules. You have 3 minutes, and then I'll be back.
Great. We all love music, and some of us also want to create music themselves. I'm Michael from MidiBrain, and I'm one of these people. I've been a music producer for over 8 years and also DJed at festivals, as you can see here. On my journey, I realized that there is a problem almost every music producer has. Most of them are self-taught, more interested in the technical side of music creation. That's why they lack music theory knowledge, what is crucial to create great compositions and great music. Ironically, most of them also don't want to learn and study music theory. That's why in the past, I created Chord Progression Generator, an app that auto-generates musical ideas for producers. It has a 4.7 stars rating in the App Store, over 130K downloads, and over 2,500 active paying customers. So people love it, but I realized that people of my target audience especially struggle with making melodies and want to compose with their own ideas and not having software doing everything for them. So now MidiBrain is creating an AI-based software application called MidiBrain Melody that makes it easy to create catchy melodies and is designed to fit the producer's preferred workflow. It covers all the music theoretical concepts you need to know to compose music. So this will be a game changer for everyone who wants to create music but never learned music theory. I'm not only a music producer, but also a software developer. I built everything on my own, but now I'm looking forward to creating a professional business out of it. That's why I'm looking for co-founders on the marketing and business side. If you know someone, feel free to connect us. Analysts estimated that the music production software market would register a revenue of more than $6.26 billion by 2022. To get a piece of that cake, MidiBrain is using a freemium subscription model. So the app is for free, but you can upgrade to the Pro subscription to get access to all features. There are already some AI-based solutions out there, but they're not very intuitive to use. MidiBrain, on the other hand, focuses on the perfect user experience. The beta test for MidiBrain Melody will start in the next weeks. I plan to have a co-founder on board in Q3 and also launch it to the App Store in Q3. And in Q4, MidiBrain Melody will be launched on Android or as an audio plugin, depending on the demand. And in the next years, MidiBrain will build more tools and create a whole ecosystem. At the moment, we're not fundraising, but if you want to be informed when we will raise a seed round, or if you want to connect me to a potential co-founder, please send me an email to michael@midibrain.com or scan this QR code with your phone to connect on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Well done, Michael. Last one, very good pitch. We already have our first question, and one that we've been asking you constantly. What are you looking for in a co-founder?
1 second, I have a slide for that. So I'm actually looking for 2 personas. The first one is a CMO. So someone that is really interested and ideally experienced in composition or music production, because he or she has really to understand the target audience to promote it in a proper way. And also it would be nice if she or he would be experienced in app marketing, and also a CFO who's experienced in founding startups or already is active in the startup ecosystem. It might help for him to be interested into music production, but it's not that necessary.
All right. Thank you very much. I've been while you were talking, a lot of people were complimenting your pitch. So I guess you'll also get questions about how you did that. But yeah, if you have, there's one question from Thomas that says, what do you need an AI for in your solution?
Basically, we're using an algorithm for the process, and the AI part optimizes and enhances the algorithm based on songs that are performing very well. So this makes the algorithm even better.
Okay. Next question is, could you please elaborate a bit on the difference between your first app and the second one?
Yes, I have a slide for that. So they're both different. So it doesn't make sense to combine it to one product. You could think about Adobe. They're having Photoshop and also After Effects. They're different tools, but for somehow the media purpose. And Chord Progression Generator auto-generates ideas, so it gives users a starting point and inspiration, and it focuses on chord progressions. MidiBrain Melody, on the other hand, is a tool where you build your own thing, and it helps you and supports you, and it focuses more on melodies. They might be available as a bundle.
All right. So 2 parts of the same MidiBrain empire.
Yeah.
One last question that we have time for is from Christian, and he says, cool idea, MidiBrain. Could a creator license his samples created with your app, and who owns the created samples?
We don't create samples. We create note information, which is called MIDI. So the license, there is no license for MIDI because it's just a note information. You will create it on your own in the app and then can export it to your music production software. And there you can use the MIDI information to play it with some instruments.
All right, Chris, I hope that answers your question. If not, join Michael in his session in a second, because this is the end of our second agenda point of today. And I'm moving back into our studio. All right. Yeah, this is the end of our pitching session. Now the third part begins for all our hop-in guests, and this will be the sessions. But before we go into sessions, just one last thing that I want to mention. If you are a startup interested in joining us for batch 6, or which will start, by the way, beginning of 2021. Or if you're an investor, a potential client, maybe a potential co-founder for one of our startups, and you want to get in touch with them, please check out our website, demoday.theventure.com. You will find all necessary information. You will find a form where you can get in touch with the startups, and also their pitch decks that you can check out there. So yeah, definitely have a look at our website, or even better, for all our hopping guests, join the startups in their sessions now. You will also find them on the left-hand side of your hop-in. You can pick which startups session you want to join, and then just turn on your camera and join them in your group call. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining today. Happy connecting, and maybe I'll see you also in our The Venturi session in a second. Hi, dear live stream audience. We're back with you, giving you a little bit of a sneaky little add-on content piece. So we thought that basically you've seen all the startups and what they achieved basically over the last 4 months, and we wanted to give you a bit of background information as well. So I have a bunch of people with me from our team again who were working with the startups. And first up, I have Josh with me, who is our data scientist at the Venturi, and who will give you a bit of a background in what it was he did with the startups and why this topic of data strategy is important, also on an early stage. Hi, Josh.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Did you enjoy the pitches?
Yeah, really interesting.
Nice. So you're a data scientist. Can you please tell us a bit about what you're doing and especially what you did with the startups?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, data science in general is basically applying scientific techniques to data. So you might have, I don't know, data from transactions or data from employees or customers, and it's using that data to discover, interesting and useful things from that information. So making discoveries about how like some type of certain kind of transaction might be more interesting that you can then target in some ways, or something like that. It's really interesting working with the startups here at the Venturi with Elevate, because every team has their own different data perspective. So it's really interesting to work with them and try to understand how they can best use their data. Of course, many startups that we work with are very early, so the challenge is they usually don't have a lot of data. And so part of my work with them is saying, okay, you're very early, but you want to be prepared in the future to do some really cool stuff with data. How do you get there? And so it's talking with them, how to collect their data, how to start even with a little bit of data, understanding it, because that then informs how to move forward, maybe collect different data, how to collect it, and then eventually reaching using machine learning, doing really fancy things that can really help their business going forward.
And that's actually something we hear often when startups are thinking about applying for the program, but they're saying, hey, we're not really applying machine learning or AI yet, and we don't have enough data, as you said, or we don't know what to do with it. And this is basically what you're doing with them. So you held a workshop, and then also worked hands-on with them.
Yes, yeah.
So, for example, Avasa, I think you were quite involved in.
Yeah, because with Avasa, they have they're working with the housing market right now in the UK, but in the future maybe elsewhere, and there's a lot of useful data out there with the availability of housing, the pricing of housing, and where people need both on the demand and the supply side, basically.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
Cool. Very interesting. And for all the startups who are watching right now and are thinking, okay, how do we move forward? We don't know what to do. We don't have a data strategy. What would be your tip? Where to start?
Where to start? Yeah, that's okay. Where to start is to collect the data, basically. So you very early on, you may not think about what you need down the road, but it's really important that you start collecting the data early, because you don't want to end up later on saying, oh, we should have recorded that, now we missed all of that information. So it's really important to even if you don't know what to do with it at this point, to collect all the relevant data, because data storage, it's really cheap, and so collect all the data that you can.
How do you know what relevant data is?
I would say that, it of course depends on your business case, but anything, if you have users coming to a platform, all of their interactions, where they're going, what they're selecting, that's definitely important. So all those interactions, and you might even think of ways to take in data from external sources. So you can scrape data or even buy data from different companies that might be relevant for your use case as well. So yeah, anything where that tells you how the environment that you're interacting with, the people that you're interacting with, anything that tells you information about that. Even if you don't think it might be useful at this point, record it.
All right. I mean, this is the man who is recording our data of our coffee machine.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Josh, for being with us. And we're moving on to our next interview with Miriam, who's back there. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
You can get a drink now.
Yeah.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
We're back on stage.
Yes.
This is basically your living room already.
Getting used to it. Not.
Yeah, so Miriam, as she mentioned before, is the circle lead of our growth marketing team, Circle. And she was involved in the Avasa team quite a lot. Can you tell us a bit about what you supported them with?
Actually, we supported them on from several angles. That's why also so many people were involved. So one main goal of them was to work on the customer experience and the whole user flow. So we did a lot of work around that. And the other thing was also collecting more data, or what data should they collect in the future for the predictions they have in mind. So Josh and Leo helped them on that side, and I on the marketing front, or we did some LinkedIn automations for them to reach HR managers. We did we tested some other organic strategies on how to target students, for example, now with the whole Corona situation and having not physical events. So we created a lot of Facebook groups, trying to get them on board there. So yeah, a lot of different things, basically.
So a whole bunch of the Venturi team was involved in
Yes.
this. But coming back more to the growth marketing area in general, what we also hear a lot, I mean, Avasa was a bit further along, but sometimes when you're right in the beginning, you maybe only have an idea or a prototype, and you're thinking, okay, what can I really do with growth marketing at this stage? But there is a lot of growth marketing practices that you can use, right? So
yeah, so I mean, basically growth marketing, it's more like a mindset or a methodology of doing a lot of experiments along the whole funnel, in regards to your product, but also to the channels, and trying to find really these sweet spots that work for you. So it's in the first step being effective, finding what works, and in the next step scaling it up and trying to do it more efficiently, automating it and other areas. So also if you're very early stage, that's the case, because you can't bet on one horse alone, because you don't know what will work. So you have to test a lot of different things. And even if you're at the very beginning and you're not sure who your customers will be, or what will be really the USP of your product, you can do a lot of landing page testers, for example, to see what creates traction, where you get leads. So it's not only in the later stage, it's really more like a mindset and a methodology that you could use on all levels.
yeah, and we do that quite a lot, the landing page testing and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Last question to all the startups watching. What's your number one or top 3 tips?
My top 3 tips. So I think the first one is go and talk to your customers, or stalk them, as I also like to say, if you do it online. So really stalk people who like your Facebook page. What do they like? What do they do? Of course, if you have the chance, talk to them, do qualitative interviews to really know who your customer is, because then everything else is easier, basically. And don't basically hide in your office, and work on something without ignoring what's happening out there. And And the other thing is talk to others, like other founders, other people maybe in the ecosystem that can help you. I think it's a really collaborative ecosystem in general, and being a founder myself in the past, most of the time if you encounter difficulties, somebody else had them as well in the past, and you could solve it much faster. And the third one is apply for Elevate. No, I'm kidding.
I did not tell her to say this.
She paid me for it. No, but in general, of course, you should apply for Elevate.
Okay.
But now I forgot my third tip.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's a good third tip,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam.
You're welcome.
I'll see you later. You can open the wine bottle. And last but not least, we have Pooja here with us. Hi, Pooja. It's done. Demo day is over.
I have the pleasure of closing this live stream. Thanks to everyone who's still around and watching us. I hope you had a good time. I did. I was actually watching it through the screen as well. And I was just thinking about how during our first kickoff meeting, you said to me, can you please make sure this is not just another Zoom call? And I think you and the guys from VC actually really managed to do that. It, to me at least, did not feel like a typical Zoom call. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
I'm actually here to say, do apply for the next batch. No, the applications are not open yet, but you can go on the website and pre-register. So it's demoday.theventure.com. And if you are a startup who's doing something in the fields of AI or machine learning, or you think you can benefit from it, just quickly leave your name and email address, and we'll message you as soon as the applications are actually on. So 2021, hopefully. Yeah, but we'll keep you posted about that.
Amazing. I did not have to ask a single question yet. But who should apply, Pooja?
So the program is for startups who are doing something in the fields of AI or machine learning from all over the world. As you could see, our startups are from very different places. So yeah, so basically, if you're already in the field, or if you think that your product or service could do with an extra boost with the power of AI, do also consider and do get in touch, and we can have a look together with the team if it would make sense and if you would be a good fit. So yeah. You can be from any industry, from any country. We're quite open in that respect.
And as Josh just said, we also support you in figuring out how to get to the point where you can apply machine learning or AI. So don't let that stop you if you want to apply.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you.
For closing this with me.
Sure.
Thanks everybody for watching, and we're really ending the live stream here now. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.